And they're starting. So, this is a Metroidvania. It starts with this cutscene we cannot skip. Basically, you control Kaho, which is a priest from Lun village, and she wants you to go to a city called Karst to warn people about a curse that is happening, like in her village. So you can roll, you can jump, you can double jump, you can melee, and you can shoot arrows. As you can see, rolling is the fastest form of movement right now. And also it's pretty safe because when you roll you have invincibility frames and you can get pretty much past most enemies.
And some of you might have also noticed that if you roll and jump at the same time, you can roll in the air, allowing you to have the speed of the roll and the height of a jump, which gives you some nice mobility.
Hello, Big Fox, you scared me.
Hello.
So there you go. Also, as you could see in pause stream, he just got a chest. We need to get 3 chests between, like in this first area, so we can buy an item that will speed up lots of fights.
Yeah, after this area they will buy an item called the Crystal Seed, which is an active item that boosts your damage by 50% for a short while, which is very useful for some early boss fights to make them go faster and easier.
This first area, the Grove, it's well known by Imp's RNG. They can do whatever they want, really. You cannot control their relentless force. And like, if you're playing on a higher difficulty where you have less health, it's kind of a hell, really. Luckily it's the first area, so you don't need to worry as much.
Yeah, especially when playing on the insane difficulty where you only have 1 health. The imps behaving randomly is a big pain. And here, Pawn has entered the first boss fight, Edea. And
will he go for the quick kill?
Yeah, he's trying to shoot her pearl, and he got it. Go. There's a specific timing to where, if you release your fully charged bow, as she attacks you with her pearl, all of the arrows will hit her pearl and do massive damage, instantly killing her. And also, if you kill a boss in this game without taking any damage, you will get a special item, and a lot of these items are very powerful and speed up the speedrun a lot.
Yeah, like most items, like most boss items are really overpowered to some extent. The first one is just Pearl. Basically, you add poison properties to your arrows, so when you shoot arrows, you will get there will be a kind of a cloud of poison. And you need to be careful because you can poison yourself. And if you take damage, even if it was damage made by yourself, you still won't get the boss items later. So yeah. Pawn is approaching the second fight. And he's equipping right now to make sure he won't have a certain item equipped. On easy mode, you start with 2 different items. One of them gives you extra iframes, and the second one makes you heal damage over time. On the patch you're playing, when you heal, it counts as you took damage because it only checks if there's a difference between your health during the fight. So you kind of need to unequip that before fights, or else you might regen health and lose the item even if you don't take damage.
Yeah. And the item that this boss fight is a 2-part boss fight. First you fight Mocha, and then you fight Lubella, as Pawn is fighting right now. The boss item from this fight is a very important item for the run. It does a lot of damage, especially later, and allows you to perform a certain shortcut later in the game. But Mocha can be a real pain. He likes to jump around and be very annoying.
Yeah.
Both our runners are playing it pretty safe by sitting back and just shooting arrows. And both managed to get through Mocha without any issues. Pawn is now past Lubella and going to the next area. So the item that Lubella drops is the Bachman patch. which when you use it, it spawns a lot of blocks that fall from the top of the screen and diagonally down. And each of these blocks does a low amount of damage, but there are a lot of them in total. So the damage adds up, and it's a real boss killer.
Yeah, and you can buff it with other items later, which is also quite neat.
Yeah, and Tohveli got through Lubella as well and managed to get the Bachman patch, so that is very nice.
Did any of them have dives? I didn't notice.
What did he say?
Did any of Lubella's dived?
Yeah, Pawn got a Lubella dive. I don't think Tohveli got a Lubella dive.
Some bosses in this game, basically they can do moves where they are either invincible or invisible or not on the screen, so you cannot hit them for certain amounts of time. Lubella is well known for like her dives, where you won't be able to hit her for like 12 seconds. Yeah, it's kind of a major time loss.
Yeah. So the area they are in is the subterranean graves. So in this area, or rather in the game, your goal right now is to gather the 4 karst crest fragments in order to get access to the castle, so that you can get an audience with the queen. So one of the crests is in this area, and in addition to defeating the boss and getting the crest fragment, they're also doing a detour to grab a key, which Pawn just did, and Tohveli is going to do right now. That key will unlock the next area they are going to, and yeah, that's how the route plays out. And
getting this key is always so scary though. So many spikes in that one screen.
Yeah, spikes are always an insta-kill in this game, no matter what difficulty you're playing on. But if you have invincibility frames, then you can run through spikes, which is useful in certain areas, but only in very specific circumstances. So this area features water mechanics, whereas you float, you can jump infinitely or swim, and you are generally slower. So in the water, you want to try and swim as much as possible. Oh no, roll as much as possible, because that is still pretty fast. And now, Pawn is...
the second fight.
Yeah, Pawn is on...
Those are the Bachman patches?
Yeah, Pawn is on the Frida fight. And she's a big, corrupted bird.
Or mosquito. It depends on like, on game files, it said that she's a mosquito, but once I asked the developer of this game if she was a duck, and they agreed, so I'm kind of confused.
Yeah, it's
Can a duck be also a mosquito?
Yeah, and Frida has one annoying attack where she teleports and becomes untargetable for a short time, which is pretty annoying. But Pawn managed to do Frida well, and has now grabbed the first crest fragment. Each of the crest fragments grants a new power to the runner, and the first fragment that they pick up allow them to charge their bow faster. I don't think we have mentioned that, but you can charge your ranged attack, and it has 3 stages: no charge, half charge, and full charge. And that crest fragment just allows you to charge faster between the stages.
Also, one thing about the Frida fight is that they were both doing the safe strategy, which is shooting arrows at a corner until she dies, and that works pretty well, but it's kind of slower. There's like a faster strategy, but it's way riskier.
Yeah, you can go in and melee Frida and do more damage that way, but that is pretty risky because you have to dodge her attacks and actually react to what she's doing. Yeah, and now Pawn is in the next area, where this area does not have a crest fragment, but it has an item and a power-up that is required to progress through certain areas of the game, and is the best item.
The best item, yeah.
Yeah, we won't spoil it yet.
Also, you could see that Pawn used his crystal before reaching the boss fight, and that is because the bell was so close he could refill the item by hitting the bell, so he can use twice if needed.
Yeah. And this
also,
fight...
this is the only fight you can take damage because the boss fight from this one is it hagens your health when you kill something, which is not very useful for us.
Yeah. So this is actually one of the fights where you can just start attacking and not really worrying about your health, which is very nice. And now Pawn has reached the best part of the run, where you turn into a cat.
Marvelous.
So as a cat, you are smaller, you move faster, and you can jump higher. And since you're smaller, you can get through certain small areas you couldn't get access to before. Rolling is still technically faster, but when you roll as a cat, you have a recovery animation at the end. So what you want to do in cat form is do a roll jump, which is rolling and jumping on the same frame, and then cancel out of the rolling animation with a melee attack. This gives you more speed than just running normally, and yeah, it's a fast form of movement as a cat.
Yeah, it's also pretty precise though. Like, it's somewhat hard, but you get used to it. Like after running for a long time.
Yeah, and here we have Pawn is on the long elevator. Tohveli got through the Libella refight well as well. It's nice. That's nice. I don't think any of them got a dive on the Libella refight, which is very nice. So what the runners will do now is that they will take a short detour in order to visit a room. That is because when they see that room, it will be marked as visited in the game. And that room contains one of the save points, one of the bells. Because the next karst fragment they will pick up will allow them to warp to certain bells, which will... and the bell that they are discovering is one that they can warp to. So then they can just grab the checkpoint, like Pawn just did, go grab the warp fragment, and then warp back to that bell without having to backtrack all the way back. And that saves a nice amount of time. And that bell...
1-2 minutes. Like, it's pretty good.
Yeah, and that bell will also be used to warp back to at 4 points in total during the run. So it's a very useful warp point in the run.
Oh, and now it's a pretty difficult fight. And now we just keep going with the run because the fight is over.
Yeah, the night mini boss is... When you have either the sparse thread or the Bachmann patch, it's a very trivial fight. It can be a bit scary if you don't use the items or if you don't know about them. But yeah, in the speedrun, the knight just gets demolished.
At least they tried, you know. They tried their best, they appeared, they died, we keep going. I can respect that.
Yeah, and the one reason as to why the route is how it is because you want to grab the warp fragment as early as possible so you can minimize backtracking. But in order to get the warp fragment, you need to be the cat form to get through that tight space that Pawn just went through. So that's why the route is basically get cat form as fast as possible, and then get the warp fragment as fast as possible. And the
There is just one really cool thing about this game is that casually you have at least 3 different possibilities to go for. Like, you have lots of freedom to explore stuff. It's pretty cool.
Yeah. Tohveli said good night to the knight, and yeah, that it's a mess. And here we saw Pawn just warp back to the save point he saw earlier. You only need to enter the room and then exit, so it's a very neat little skip. And the next area is a pretty scary area, the Cinder Chambers. Or it's not that scary in
any percent. You barely have any risks, to be honest, but on other categories and casually, it's so scary. So many spikes everywhere and blood and mimics.
Yeah, but even if the area isn't that scary, the boss fight here against the heretical arsonist is still scary no matter the category. Because arsonist has a lot of health and if you're not careful, you can easily get stuck in a corner with nowhere to run, and that's usually not a good time.
Yeah, just like that.
Yeah. So Pawn is. Oh yeah, he managed to roll out of the way. And Pawn needs to be careful of the explodey barrels behind him, because they can detonate from Arsonist's attacks, and you don't really want to. Okay, that was a bit scary. But Pawn managed to get through the fight. That's good. You also have Calf to help you during this fight. And after the fight, you need to say no to Calf, because else she will go on an exposition. Like, she will give you a lot of exposition about the game, which is not what we want in a speedrun, sadly, because Calf is a very nice character.
Also, the boss fight item is the Pocket Eye Sensory, which adds fire properties to our attacks, both for arrows, our melee attacks, and backman patches, which means it's one of the best damage items in the game.
Yes, and the crest fragment power that they get from Arsonist is the ability to dash in the air. So using the dodge while you're in the air, dashes you forward, which is very fast and allows you to dodge a lot of things. It's a very neat ability.
And this is a pretty good cat RNG right there. Basically, Kaho is talking to Cutulard about the stuff, and we're going there to get a key. But there's those 7 small little precious creatures called cats in the background. They are amazing.
Yes.
And Tohveli just finished Arsonist, pretty good.
Yeah, without taking damage. That's very nice. So the key that Pawn grabbed is needed to get access to this area and the final crest fragment. And this fight is casually one of the best fights in the game. Has very cool music, a scary but cool boss. But in the speedrun, she just gets demolished. It says say hello and say goodbye.
Ooh.
That was actually kind of scary. Pawn managed to do it. That's good.
Pretty good.
And this final crest fragment allows you to get another level of charge to your arrow attacks. So you can, if you charge even longer than before, then you will shoot out 4 or 5 arrows in quick succession and do a lot of damage.
Yeah, it's especially combined with a later item we might see in this run. It's pretty strong.
Yeah. And
also pretty good cat RNG on Tohveli's end.
Yeah, and the item that Pardoner Fennel drops is the Tainted Missive, which it's almost the same as the Crystal Seed, where it boosts your damage for a short while, but it boosts your damage by 100% instead of a 50%, but it takes a quarter of your health away every time you use it. So you can't use it during a boss fight, because then it would count as taking damage, and you want the items for most fights. But the damage increase is very good and will be used. Because you can use it before boss fights to still get the effect of it. And now Tohveli is on Pardoner Fennel. Let's see if he will get a smoother fight. Let's see here. First phase done, second phase. And that's done.
There you go.
That's it.
Also, Paul just got the Sealed Wind. That item is really important, because if you just beat the game without using it and getting an upgrade that requires it, the game won't consider itself beaten. It would be the final boss, and then nothing would happen. So even to the speedrun, like for any percent, we require you to get the true ending. So, yeah.
Yeah, and to get the true ending, you need to upgrade your Leaf, your melee weapon. And to upgrade your melee weapon, you need the Sealed Wind to access an area. And Pawn is nearing the next boss, which is one of the most annoying bosses, or the hardest bosses, because for the first phase you want to start the fight with a Bachman patch and then do one more, and then you want to jump in and do a Spar Spread to kill this first phase. And the Duchess Loopyar, which is the first phase, can be very annoying and roll and do annoying stuff. So if you're unlucky, yeah, she can just be very rude to you. But Pawn got through it nicely and got the heavy arrows, which increases your arrow damage by a lot. I think it doubles your arrow damage or something.
Yeah. And it combines with the sensory, so it's kind of scary, the damage from arrows at that point.
Yeah. Yeah, heavy arrows plus the pocket incensory gives your ranged attacks a lot of damage. So soon Pawn will use the Bachman patch in order to unlock a shortcut. You're intending to go up and around the castle, but he will use the Bachman patch to hit a switch off screen, which will unlock the path to the right there, allowing him to climb up there. And while it is opening up, the runners will go back and upgrade the melee weapon with the Sealed Wind in order to unlock the true ending, which will also increase their melee damage in the process, which is pretty neat.
Tohveli just approaching the arsonist. The arsonist, the Loopyar and Magnolia fight.
Yeah. And yeah, if you saw on Pawn screen, you needed the Sealed Wind to activate that windmill and open up this path beneath there to get to the well, which has tea water in it. And if you bathe bathe your maple leaf in it.
Loopyar rolled.
Oh, that's rough.
Tohveli still got it though.
Oh, did he not get hit?
No, he dodged it gracefully. And
that's very good. Yeah, the Loopyar and Magnolia fight can be very scary.
There you go.
So you're saying that he still got the item?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's very good. Both our runners got heavy arrows. That's very nice. Yeah, and Pawn is now making his way through the castle in order to reach the end. And on the way to the final fight, there is one mini-boss that needs to be defeated, the Clone Angel.
Which is not actually an angel. Did you know that?
I'm not really. I just call.
She also doesn't make clones. They are illusions.
That is true. She spawns fish from the sky if you attack the wrong clone or wrong version. So the fight is that you have to identify which one is the real one and attack that one. If you attack the wrong one, a lot of fish will spawn from the sky and try and murder you. So you want to avoid that. And you can identify which is the real one by whichever hovers closest to the ground, which is a weird little quirk with that boss fight. That's not how the intended way to identify the real one. The standard way to do it is to look at the attacks they use, because the real one's attacks flashes white and blue, while the illusions only have a white color to that. And now Pawn is entering the final boss fight against the Queen. And the Queen is one of the longest fights in the game. It has 3 phases to it. But with all the damaging items and stuff we have, each phase will go down pretty quickly.
Pawn is doing the newest Queen strategy. Through the first phase really quickly. Let's see if he can manage to go through the second one.
Yeah, and it's also fine to get hit during the Queen fight, since this is the last fight of the game, so what could you use an extra item for? There's no reason to.
Just need to save a little health to use the second missive, but like, outside that, get hit all you want.
Yeah.
Also, since we're going for the true ending, there's this third phase. And GG for Pawn.
24-38, that's a good time.
It's a pretty good time.
Yeah. And Tohveli is making his way through. Oh, and it's also fine to get hit during the queen fight, since this is the last fight of the game. So what could you use an extra item for? Is Tohveli having our audio on his stream?
Just need to save a little health to use the second missive, but like outside that, does sounds like I need to build audio for this for a while. This is really also, confusing. Since we're going for the true ending, there's this third phase.
Yeah, so Tohveli is making his way through 24:38. That's a good time. That's a pretty good time. Yeah. Through the castle as well, fighting the clone angel.
Very nicely done.
Yeah, we haven't seen the Yeet strat being performed tonight.
Tomorrow that will happen for sure.
Oh, that's nice.
Sounds like I need to. This is like not super new, but since it's somewhat new strat, it's kind of normal to see newer players like Tohveli or like older players like Paul not going for those. That's actually quite smart, using Beckman Fetch during the elevator. I had never thought about that before.
Yeah, a lot of people, most people don't use it because if you follow what the menuing strat that most people use, then you won't have the Bachman patch equipped, and then equipping it from the menu would lose you a bit of time. So that is why most runners don't use the Bachman patch in the elevator, because it's not that difficult if you know how to avoid it.
Oh, Tohveli's on PB pace.
Oh, yeah. This is what is Tohveli's PB? Is it? Does he have a 28?
I think it's 28.0 something, but I'm not sure.
Yeah. I don't remember.
Now exactly. It's gonna be a low 27 apparently. If everything goes right.
Well, it doesn't have to go right. He basically just has to not die. And the final phase should be very easy.
You go to Valley.
Yeah, according to Uwe in chat, Tohveli's PB is at 28 something, so that seems to be confirmed.
And PB 27.25. Damn, that's like 40 seconds at least. Holy heck, this is a pretty good
that's
PB.
A PB. GG.
GG.
Good job, Tohveli, for the 50 PB, and congratulations, Bomb, for the first round.
So will they set up the?
Yeah, Tohveli lost by 2 minutes and 57 seconds, if you want to be exact. So, and Tohveli is a one of our newer runners. Started at the start of this month or so.
He has improving so fast. It's kind of amazing, to be honest. So many newer runners this year we have that are getting better amazingly fast. It's quite nice to watch.
No, 240s. No, wait. 247, not 57. Difference. Well, a little less than 3 minutes. But that's good. And our runners are going to prepare for run number 2. Tohveli, your sum of best isn't that good. Well, you just have to get very good now in this next run and beat your PB by a lot, and everything will be good. Yeah, exactly. That's the spirit. You will come back here in round 2. Yeah, so if anyone has any questions about the game, we have a little bit of time here during the intermission between the races, where I can answer any questions and focus on that instead of focusing on the races. How old is the game? Ooh, I am not sure. It is a few years old by now, at least. Let's see. Let's check the store. Momodora release date. What does it say? 4th of March 2016 is what it says on the Steam store page. Yes, this is a part of a series. This is technically the 4th game in the series. Momodora 1 and 2 are released as free Flash games and can be found from the developer's website. Momodora 3 is also on Steam. Momodora 3 and Reverie Under the Moonlight are both on Steam and can be bought there. And the developer is working on a new game called the Minoria, which is it's not really Momodora 5, but it's by the same developer. And it's very neat to play through all the Momodora games to see how they evolved from the first game to this game, and see what mechanics stayed from each game, and how all of that evolved. Momodora, Momodora 2, Momodora 3, and this one. Yes, exactly. That is correct, Ovle.
I am back.
Welcome back.
Thank you. What's popping?
3 and 4 are the better Momodora games. I would say that Momodora 2 is a pretty good game, while Momodora 1 is the jankiest of them. But that is to be expected since it is the oldest game, and I guess, and you can clearly tell that Ardine learned from each game and improved them all from game to game. Yeah, the Momo community is kinda niche. It's a pretty neat game.
It's small, but it's not like that small, I think.
Yeah. We have there are quite a few runs on the leaderboards for the game.
Yeah, and there's also lots of different categories and stuff like that, so...
Yeah, there are at least over 50... or at least 85 different runners have submitted runs for the game. If you look on the easy any percent leaderboard, then there might be runners who haven't even done an easy any percent run. So at least 85 runners have speedrun this. It has a neat little following.
And there's Minoria coming up in a few months.
Yes. Oh, it seems like our runners are getting ready to start the next race. Let's see, I hope that Pawn remembers to reset his timer before starting the next race, so that it actually starts properly. Yes, this is a best of 3. So Pawn has won the first of these best of 3, and if Pawn wins the next one, then Pawn wins this race or this match, and if Tohveli wins, then they will go to a third and final run.
Anything could happen, really. And they both play really, really well.
I don't think Pawn said yes to Cass. I'm pretty sure Pawn said no.
You gotta say yes, always.
Yeah, if you say no to Calf, she will call you a roach.
You don't wanna be a roach.
No, say yes to Calf.
Are we supposed to say yes, not for the music?
You can do that if you want. Calf is the night lady you can find throughout the game. She's the one who helps you during the arsonist boss fight, and also after you defeat Labella for the first time, you will find her in the intersection as you enter the subterranean graves. And you can also see her a final time near as you are moving through the Karst Castle, like a few screens before the Clone Angel fight, where she's taking a nice deserved nap after progressing through the dangerous Karst Castle.
Yeah, imagine climbing all that castle in such a heavy armor with a huge sword. I mean, she deserves that rest time, for sure.
Yeah.
And she's also Kaho's girlfriend, which is quite cool, animal.
Indeed. Yeah, there's a neat little Easter egg where after the arsonist fight, if you talk to Calf, I think a certain amount of times in a row and say yes, she gets a little bit flirty with you and wants to go on a date, which is very cute.
People fighting over who's the best girl has to remember that the last tournament decided who the best girl was, and Devastop, who won, decided that it was Cutlard and her 7 cats. So yeah, Cutlard and her 7 cats are the best girl. Especially the caramel cat. That one is always inside my heart.
That is true. That is true.
Leather was best girl. But since it's not in this time, I mean, deciding the best girl is not a prize on this tournament, so yeah, that's gonna be Cotlard and her 7 cats forever. And runners are ready, and we have the second race going.
Yeah, seems like the streams are desynced for now, but that will be fixed shortly. So once again, we start out in the Grove. The Grove has quite a... well... The Grove is... because of the Imp RNG, it is disliked by a lot of people, especially those who run the harder difficulties.
Yeah, on hard and on insane, there are more enemies than usual, and you have way less health. On insane, you only have 1 health, so anything can kill you with 1 hit. It's quite scary to run Grove.
Indeed, the Grove can be very scary.
But it also has a very soothing song in the background that makes you relaxed and not worry about anything in the world.
Yeah, I mainly run this game on Insane when I do run it. So the calm music in the Grove really helps you relax, even if you have to reset 10 times in a row due to an imp jumping into you, because they are very annoying.
Yeah, I usually play on normal, but that doesn't help me at all.
Yeah. Da, da, da.
And they're going quite smoothly. There's not a lot of problems. And Grove is not really that risky. I think the worst thing that could happen is either skipping chests or somehow falling into spike, but there's not a lot of spikes in this area, so
yeah,
it's a good little intro.
Yeah, if you try to roll jump everywhere where you can to optimize it, then there might be areas where you miss, where you can accidentally fail it and only jump or only roll. And
right
the room there
after the 3rd chest is the one I died most to finally roll guns.
Yeah, the room they're currently in has a cycle where you can catch the elevator if you're fast enough. It seems like both had issues with that. And then there's a pretty precise jump where you need to get a full height jump, where you don't need to jump around to the left. And it seems like Tohveli has not mastered that yet, and lost a bit of time to that, and Pawn is entering the boss fight. So the quick kill strat we mentioned, there are two versions of it. The version Pawn is using is the safe version, where even if you fail it, you won't get hit. And you can still continue the boss fight. And the arrows will probably hit the Pearl and do a bit of damage, even if it won't actually kill her.
Yeah. I usually recommend people going for that strategy, even if they are not consistent with the kick build, just because it's so much damage you do. Like, it's really worth a shot, anyway.
Yeah. And both of the runners got through the first boss fight easily, and are now picking up the Crystal Seed and then going through the Karst City. So the Mocha fight, Mocha likes to jump around. He is kind of like an imp in that he likes to jump around a lot randomly. If you can use melee attacks to stagger him, and when he is staggered, he won't hit you if he touches you. But it's a bit tricky and requires practice to pull it off well, and can be scary.
I think they both did the safe strategy, right?
Yeah. I think Pawn is not comfortable with the Cursed Orb attack, which is Mocha has 3 attacks. One is he shoots out a giant orb, which explodes and curses you. One is he creates like a snowflake pattern of small orbs around you, and you can attack the small orbs to make them disappear. And the last one is he throws out buck blocks, and they are very easy to dodge, and is one of the is probably the best attack, because then you have the most time to do damage. Pawn gets through the Lubella fight well, no dives this time, and Tohveli got through the Mocha phase.
This is way closer than the last one, at least right now.
Yeah. So one item we haven't mentioned is that Tohveli was unlucky and got a dive.
No.
So sometimes you might see some blue lines flash across the screen from top to bottom. That is a hidden item, where if you input up, up, down, down, left, right, then you will spawn a fairy which will shoot lasers randomly across the screen and do damage to the enemies. Since it counts as a hidden active item, and you can use it once, and then you need to refresh it at a save point, as all other active items. Active items have a set amount of uses, and after you've used them, then you need to go and refresh them by saving at a bell. And Pawn is making his way through the subterranean grave, which can be a scary area with all the spikes and all the water. Especially since you want to try and roll as much as possible, because, as I said last time, you are generally slower as you move in water, but rolling is still the same speed, or close to the same speed at least, so rolling is the best form of movement when you're underwater.
Just like in real life.
I cannot confirm that, but I am not a lot. I don't spend a lot of time in the water, so I trust your judgment on this one.
Don't worry about it. Everyone at home, you can go to your pools and try that. Just remember to hold your breath underwater. That's important.
And also, don't hold your breath for too long underwater. Make sure to get out of the water and breathe air, because we are humans and we need air to live.
Yeah, that's a pretty good. If you're not a human, then ignore everything, but that's pretty important. We need oxygen.
Yeah. Let's see. We haven't seen a PB jellyfish, right?
We haven't seen a single one. Tohveli got a PB in the last run without a jellyfish. It's like the true power of getting better at the game. Don't need those tools like jellyfishes, and that bat is really scary. It's okay.
Yeah, it's fine. You have invincibility frames. And now pawn is back in the Frida fight. And will smack that bird.
It's kind of interesting that depending on your distance from Frida, she can do different attacks. She's charging a huge laser, so pawn had to do those melee combos to stop her from doing that. But if you're doing the melee strat, she doesn't usually go for it.
Yeah, if you're... She basically only does the big laser if you're far away from her. And if you are close to Frida, she has a higher chance of using her teleport attack, but you want to be close to her to do more damage. So on the Tohveli screen, you could see a small ghost enemy at the entrance of the screen. So what the runners do is that they shoot an arrow at it before entering the fight, and then the poison will kill the enemy before it has a chance to do anything during the fight, or else you would have to handle that and the boss at the same time, and that's not very nice.
Yeah. You can also make it, like get you the roam in a way you don't spawn that enemy, but that's usually slower, at least in 90%.
Yeah, you can jump over the spawn trigger for that enemy. And yeah, one thing about the safe strat is that if you stand in the corner and Frida doesn't teleport, then she will move towards you and stop a certain distance away. And even if, no matter what attack she does, as long as you crouch, you will not be hit, unless she does her big laser. But that one is special. But her poke attack and her spawn dogs attack and her small laser won't hit you, which makes the safe strat a very easy strat to use.
It is actually super funny when she's super close to you and she tries to melee but she cannot reach you and you're just like there shooting arrows. It's like
yeah, and
there you go.
Pawn is fighting the Reverie fight. Let's see if no dives for pawn so far, and he managed to finish the fight without dives, which is very nice.
So pawn got no dives in this run to compensate for the last one.
Yeah, that's very nice. Seems like you have some inside information from in the chat saying that the elevator room was hilarious. So let's see what happens in the elevator room coming up. Yeah, platforming as the cat can be surprisingly difficult at first, because it can be hard to tell where your actual hitbox is, since your cat sprite looks to be quite long, but the actual platform that you can stand on is only a block wide. So you look a lot wider than you are, which can make it tricky to land on the small platforms that exist. Okay, let's see here. Elevator room.
And Tohveli also got a dive.
Oh,
wait, I think I know what's gonna happen. Okay, let's...
Oh, okay. Yeah, since... So were elevators in this? No? Okay.
What? Wait,
okay.
What?
Okay, I expected the elevator to kidnap pawn on the way down.
Yeah.
Because one thing with elevators in this game is that once you step on an elevator, you can't leave it until it has reached its destination. So if you accidentally activate the elevator so it goes down, you will have to ride it all the way down and then all the way back up again. Which is not very optimal when you want to do a speedrun. And then once again, pawn is now just entering the room and then leaving to mark that bell as seen. And then backtracking back to the warp fragment. Dun, dun, dun. Yeah, this backtracking segment is pretty calm, whereas there is not a lot that can kill you on easy because
oh wait,
they're
an enemy. Oh, never mind.
There are basically no spikes that can kill you, and you can take some hits from enemies, and it's fine because you have a lot of health when you're playing on easy.
Yeah.
But yeah, still, getting hit usually knocks you back, and that's not very good when you want to speedrun.
There's also the thing where optimization in this game comes mostly from movement, so while there's not much going on in terms of enemies or platforming challenges, it's one of the places where you really want to maximize, like, optimize your movement.
Yeah, making sure to roll jump and just platform in general, that's where most of the optimizations come. Learning the quick kill for Edea and the most optimal boss fight strats, that can save a bit of time, but generally doing poor platforming will cost you more time than the boss fights in this game.
This game is one of those games that it's quite easy to get into speedrunning, at least the basics, but if you want to optimize to top level, it's really something. It's quite precise most of the time, and time losses are very unforgiving.
Indeed. Yeah, when you're going for the absolute top times, then a single Lubella dive ruins your chance of getting a PB or whatever. So yeah, boss fights can become very RNG heavy when you're going for a good time, which can be very annoying. But when just running the game and starting out, that doesn't matter too much.
Yeah, I am usually a very reset heavy person, but when telling people, like, when they're getting into this game, usually tell them to not reset, like, because of RNG, because that time doesn't really matter at the start, and like, you could still PB with bad RNG. Not long ago, there was actually a world record in 90% that had a dive in it by double stop. It was like at the beginning of this year, I don't remember, but like that can show like even bad RNG.
It's enough.
That's enough. Oh, he got hit. No.
Yeah, Palm was in a very scary situation. You can stagger Arsonist if you hit her with 2 melee hits, and sometimes Calf can stagger Arsonist as well. So there you can do riskier strats with Arsonist where you try to melee her and stuff, but that can be very difficult. And sometimes Calf can decide to help you by knocking Arsonist onto you, and if you're not prepared for that, that does usually not end well.
But it's not Calf's fault, it's of course the player's fault for not dodging, because Calf is helping.
Indeed.
Calf is like the DPS, the tank player in an MMO raid, trying to like crowd control the enemy, and Kaho is the DPS. You know where this is going.
Yeah, and the one thing is, with the first crest fragment that allows you to charge your arrows faster, you do more damage by doing half charge arrows, which is one arrow that does more damage than just spamming the weakest arrows with no charge. So if you look at the Tohveli right now, you will see like a sort of glowing effect every time he shoots arrows, and that is a half charge arrow. And here we have Pawn grabbing the Pawn grabbed the pocket incensory and the crest fragment and can now dash and do more damage. Tohveli got through the arsonist fight well, which is very good. And since Pawn had to reset, Tohveli gained a lot of time there.
Also, there's one thing about this arsonist fight is that you want to finish as close to Calf and as close to the right as possible, with arsonist close to you as well. So you're closer to the next screen. You can save a bit of time by doing that. And that's another pretty good cat RNG right here. We have 4 white cats, 2 black cats, and 1 caramel cat. What do you think of this? Is it good?
That is definitely some pretty good cat RNG.
I know, right? Every time you enter the room, there are 7 cats, and they do stuff randomly like any cat, but their colors are also random. They can be caramel, black, or white cats. So make sure to enjoy your cats every time.
Let's see, Tohveli's cat RNG. That's some good cat RNG right there.
I know, right? 3 white cats, 2 black cats, and 2 caramel cats. Both caramel cats are sleeping, and there's 1 white and 1 black cat guarding the fortress. Pretty good.
One thing to note is that the worst cat RNG you can get is still pretty good cat RNG. There are no bad cat RNGs. There are only pretty good cat RNGs or better.
Every cat is a good cat. And while you were saying that, Paul just completely crushed Final.
Yeah, and it seems like Tohveli forgot to go to Funnel. And missed.
Damn. That costs quite a bit of time.
Yeah. I have a habit of warping to the wrong place, but I usually not that bad. I usually remember the route, so that's pretty rough. Oh yeah, and now Pawn is in the Royal Pinacoteca, which is an area of many names. My preferred name for this area is Royal Pinecone City.
I like Pythagoras Theorem quite a lot.
Pythagoras Theorem is a nice one. Royal Piano
Castle?
I don't know. That's another good one. Yeah, no, basically, it has a difficult name. It's actually a very nice area to speedrun. It has a lot of verticality. You have to switch between cat form and human form, and then especially this room where you grab the sealed wind has some very neat movement. These fastest strats in there are really cool. So yeah, overall the area is very cool and pretty scary, but one of the most interesting parts of the run.
Oh yeah, right there on the painting there was YV from the game Nuclear Throne. It's a pretty good roguelike slash shooter.
Oh yeah, one of the standard names that we forgot is that this place is the Pina Colada. That's a very standard name also for it. That's probably the most common name for it. And let's see. Oh, that's just Lupiar decided to do a lot of rolls, but he can still save this. Oh, he saved it. What makes Lupiar such a dangerous fight is that you can't use arrows on her. She's immune to your arrows, so you can't just sit back in a corner and spam arrows on her. So you have to go in and melee. But you're not guaranteed to stagger her with a melee attack. So it's not, and she has some very fast melee attacks. So it isn't there are pretty much no safe times to go in and melee her. So trying to defeat her without getting hit with melee attacks is a real challenge.
Also, there's this thing that Lupiar has the most broken ability that Kaho also has, known as rolling. And she also gets invincible when she rolls, which is kind of unfair. Only we can do that. Like, what the heck?
Yeah, that's like that's a main character power, not a common enemy or boss power. That's too powerful.
I know, right? At least the final boss should have that, not Lupiar. Oh my god, Tohveli almost fell into the spikes there.
It's fine. Spikes are cute and cuddly. They don't hurt that much when you have iframes.
I hope that if we race during this tournament, you remember this and go cuddle some spikes.
I will see what I can do.
I think like spikes are the worst thing in the world after Mocha.
There is actually a strat in another category, in the AVIB category, where you use the extra iframes that you get from the easy item, or I think you need that at least. I'm not sure, but anyway, you take damage from an enemy, and then you use that to run through some spikes and speed up a room slightly. It's a
It's that
difficult.
one in the Cinder, right?
Yeah, Cinder Chambers. That's the one I'm thinking of.
It's pretty good.
Yeah, it's a pretty dangerous strat.
You can do that on normal, if I recall correctly. Heiho was
Yeah.
timing it, but it's very, very precise and not really worth it.
Oh yeah, that is true. I remember I tried to do it on Insane, but you don't have enough health even with the health power-ups you pick up in that category. So yeah, sadly no speed up, small optimizations in that difficulty.
We do have some other damage boosts exclusive to AVIP though, especially to get certain health fragments. Damage boosts are really, really good.
Which damage boost are you thinking of? Because in Insane you basically can't do any of them because you have too little health.
It's the one after you defeat Lubalachu, you have to climb the elevator and go to the right. It's that one that has two of that big flower thingy that shoots the lines.
Yeah, you don't have enough health even if you take an extra optional health fragment by then. I have tried it. It's too bad.
Pretty good RNG on Angel for a pawn.
Yeah,
But no
pawn is.
beats.
Yeah, the Yeet strat it's difficult. And you said it yourself that you should not do it during the race.
I'm totally doing that tomorrow.
Nice.
To be honest. But yeah, it's really risky. Also, Pawn came back to the game just for this tournament, so that's kind of like that's pretty nice of him. But also means that he probably didn't have the time to get the newer strategies.
Tohveli is making his way through the cursed castle, and the pawn is now entering the queen fight. And let's see how he will handle the queen this time. First phase goes very smoothly. Let's see how the second phase goes.
It's just so good to see like the quick kill being done well. It's just amazing.
Yeah, and you can see how much damage the arrows with heavy arrows, pockets incensory, and fully charged and tainted missile does. It's insane amount of damage. And let's see Pawn finish off the final phase here. And GG. 25-28.
Pretty good. Pawn takes the first match.
Yeah, so to kill the clone angel, it's enough if you use the tainted missive. Then the tainted missive does not buff the damage from the sparse thread, but you need to use the tainted missive in order to boost the damage of your melee attacks. So 2 sparse threads and then 2 melee hits while being boosted by the tainted missive is enough to kill the clone angel. But you need to make sure that you're not too close to the clone angel, or else the first sparse thread will hit the clone angel too early, and you won't have enough time to do 2 melee hits.
And there's also this thing where every time, like, depending on her health, she will spawn more than like 1 clone, up to 5, I think. So it can get pretty messy.
Yeah. And it's time for Tohveli to enter the final queen fight. Did Tohveli get the heavy arrows? Because he has not equipped them.
He didn't equip that?
Yeah, I don't think he's... Yeah, I'm not sure. I know that he has said that he's not used to getting the heavy arrows, so he can forget to equip it. Not sure if that's what happened this time or if he did not get it. But here we will see a few more of the queen's attacks in the first phase. That was very cold, just standing there, right next to the tag. Yeah, so if you can't kill the queen early in this phase, you lose quite a bit of time because you can't really hit her a lot when you're beneath her.
Yeah, and you're like, depending on how much time you took to beat her on the first phase, you will run out of missive quite fast.
Yeah.
Usually what's recommended, if you don't have heavy arrows, is to just use your patches in the second phase instead of the third, because that attack where you get stuck in the center of the screen takes a really long time to go out. There you go.
That's the second phase done for Tohveli, and entering the third and the final phase. And spoilers, Tohveli will manage this fight. We have some insider information from the chat, and the GG 28-30. That's a good thing.
Pretty good.
Yeah. Well, congratulations to Pawn for taking home this first match in this Momodora tournament. Winning both of the races today. Very nice, very nice.
They were both doing like amazingly well.
Yeah.
And Tohveli also got a PB during the race, which is pretty cool. I love when that kind of thing happens.
Yeah, Tohveli got a PB during the race, so that means that they played very well and they did a great job.
So let's see, are we gonna have interviews? Do we have time for that?
Yeah, we have time for that. Let's see if the runners want to have interviews or not. We have a certain runner. Paul joined the Discord channel, so I guess they will appear here shortly, maybe. We'll see if both of the runners can join in here if they want to have a small talk after the race. I'm not sure. Let's see. Let's ping Tohveli about that. Maybe they don't know about this.
Also, if you want to learn this game, it has lots of pretty good tutorials, both for beginners and more advanced strats. We also have a pretty cool Discord server. Everyone is very friendly and chill, and we have a Discord channel solely to share pets pictures. So if you have a pet and you want to share pictures, you can go there. Or if you want to learn the game, you can also go there and join us.
Yeah, it's a very friendly, neat little community. And yeah, learning the speedrun is pretty easy. There are a lot of easy strats to learn, and the run isn't that long. Even if you're completely new to the speedrun, as long as you've played the game, you can easily do the run in under 40 minutes easily.
Yeah.
Hello, guys.
Hello, Tohveli.
Hello.
Well, congratulations on getting a new PB in today's race.
All right, thanks you. I'm really happy about that one, but not really enjoying the second run.
Yeah, I saw like when you teleported to, I think it was to go to the Pinnacle Attacker, but you didn't get the final fight.
Yeah.
That happens though. It happens to everyone, especially because Fennel is so fast. It's pretty easy to forget she exists most of the time.
Yeah, I'm really surprised I still got a sub 30. I mean, I almost beat my old PB with that run, and everything went wrong there. Like the Idea fight before was like really bad, and all the dives that happened.
Yeah, it's rough when Lubella suddenly decides to dive, there's not a lot you can do about it. But yeah, that's a nice run.
Yeah, thank you.
And Paul is here. GG on the win.
Congrats. Well played.
Thank you very much. You too, GG.
You went hella fast in the first run.
Yeah, you PB'd the first one, so that was pretty sick. Congrats on that.
Thank you.
So, any thoughts on your ends? Like, what do you think on your performance?
The first run was fine. Like, things went pretty smoothly. For the most part, I don't think I had any resets or anything, and generally, like, boss strats went well.
Yeah, I
Second
noticed.
run... Oh, sorry, you were saying?
Yeah, your queen strat was very well executed in both of the runs, which was very nice.
Yeah, thank you.
The newest queen strat that we have currently. Very nice.
Yeah, I was practicing that I think a couple months ago, and then I was just like, let's brush up on that for the tournament. So I was glad to see it went well in both the runs. The second run was pretty scuffed. But, I don't even that elevator room in the Grove comes to mind. By the second reset, I was just having a giggle fit. I was just laughing at myself so much.
Oh yeah, what was that? The elevator room you were referring to when you wrote in the chat? Okay, yeah, because we thought you were referring to the elevator room after Lubella 2.
Oh, I see.
And was like, okay, we were expecting you to take that elevator down again, and then nothing happened, and we were a little bit disappointed.
Oh, I see. Okay.
But yeah, you had a little bit of issues in the elevator room in the Grove. Both of you had issues there, actually.
Yeah, that was unfortunate. I mean, the first one was like, okay, whatever. Like sometimes this happens, I'll just reset it. But I've actually never had it happen twice like that in a race.
Yeah.
So, and then that was like 4 times. I was like, what the hell? So, but the second one, I was just laughing. So I don't know. But yeah, the run was pretty scuffed. But I was glad that at least the queen strat went off without a hitch and was pretty clean. So had something to redeem it a little bit.
Yeah, you managed to get the quick kill in both of the runs as well. That's good.
Oh yeah, I was happy with that. I'm really bad at doing it manually. I know you're a huge fan of the non-quick kill strats that are existent, but I don't even really know them. So it's like if I miss it, it's a reset. So I was pretty happy that I didn't miss them.
Yeah, that's well done.
Yeah.
The arsonist fight though on the second round.
Oof. Yeah, that was rough. Yeah, I just reacted late to the teleport or whatever you want to call it, like the dash attack she has. And so then I was like, okay, I'm in this corner. I have to get out of here. And I thought that I saw like a safe spot that I could land a roll on, like that didn't have fire on it, but I was incorrect. It still hit me. So
yeah.
I tried to roll through, but no, it was still fire, so got hit. That
is definitely one of the hardest things to learn when doing the arsonist fight is make sure you don't trap yourself in a corner when arsonist is nearby, because she will burn you, and that's not a fun thing.
Yeah, it's kind of rough, right? Because you're trying to optimize it. You want her to be on the right side of the room. You want Calf on the right side of the room. So it's like there's kind of this balance where it's like, well, I could go over there, but maybe I'll risk it, And it's like you kind of get this little, I don't know, at least for me, that's how it is. And so in that particular case, I just reacted late. Like if I had reacted on time, I would have just, gone to the left because there's nowhere to go otherwise. But sometimes you got to make a decision to kind of stay over and do some weird stuff, but it's all good. Something that I thought was insane though was what fight was that?
That Fennel fight was actually really insane.
Yeah, the first Fennel fight. Yeah, you didn't really get the correct strat or the execution for the standard strat, and only she had like quite a bit of health left after your Bachman patches ended, and she almost managed to hit you, but you managed to dodge and whittle down her last health with some arrows. That was
Oh, I see. Okay, that was in the first run.
Yes.
Oh yeah, okay, I remember that now. I was thinking of Lupiar in the second run.
I remember that fight as well. That was scary.
Oh my god, that was scary.
Yeah, you needed to use both sparse threads and a few melee hits,
Yeah,
if
that was
I'm not
insanity.
mistaken.
I don't know
Yeah.
what exactly happened there. I'll have
Yeah.
to watch it back and see what happened, but I guess she just didn't get stun locked in the Bakken patches. And so then it was like, once she still had left some health left after the sparse threads, I was like, oh no, don't tell me that. And so then it was like, well, I guess I'll try to melee her, and that worked out. And I was like, oh thank God, I thought I was done. I thought I was absolutely cooked.
Yeah, that's definitely one of the scariest part of the run, trying to get the loopy R without taking any hits. It's scary enough when you have to use 2 sparse threads, but when your 2 sparse threads are not enough, well, then that's beyond the most speedrunners in this game, actually.
My heart dropped as soon as I saw that she was still alive after 2. I was like, what happened here? And I thought I was, I'll try it, but I'm probably gonna end up resetting, but it didn't hit me, so got lucky. She could have easily just rolled into me or whatever, and I would have been absolutely done, but got lucky on the end there, so that's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Do you
overall,
have
I
any-
mean, sorry?
No. Go ahead, finish what you had.
Oh, I was gonna say overall, like, I was mostly okay with how I played. The second run being a bit scuffed, it ended up not actually having too huge an effect on the time. I mean, it was like, I don't think it was a full minute slower than the first run, but maybe I'm wrong. So it wasn't too profound, but yeah, overall I was pretty happy with it.
Yeah. Tohveli, do you have any more thoughts about your run or your runs?
I don't know. I'm really happy about the PB, which kind of surprised myself as well. The second run, I scuffed so many things that I can't even find a single thing to talk about. It was it was a mess.
Bella diving both fights in your second run was kind of heartbreaking, to be honest.
Yeah, I had already had a bad run. Like my first grow was terrible with the lift. I got really frustrated. Like I think I tried to hit the elevator like 10 times, or the jump after it, the double jump after the elevator.
You both were actually having problems at the same room, and that's great. It was like, oh no, that jump can be quite tricky to do, to be honest. Like, double jumps in this game are harder than they seem, for sure.
Yeah, overall, I'm really happy. I suspected the first run to go worse than the second, but I'm really surprised the first one went really well, since I was really nervous at the beginning. I thought I would mess up and end up in the pit, but for somehow it just worked out.
You are doing great
on the first run, given that, like, the nerves you can have, especially on your first race, like in a tournament ever, is pretty massive. So it's cool to see that stood up to the nerves well and PB'd.
And it was also such a huge PB. Like, it was about 40 seconds, right? That's
it
pretty
was
good.
Nearly 40 seconds, and considering Lubella diving, it was like really good.
Yeah. Well, do we have anything else to say, or is that it for this match?
I think I'm all set. Good games, Tohveli. Congrats on your PB again, and looking forward to the next race.
Yeah, GG. Good luck for the next runners. I guess the next run was on Saturday. Am I correct?
No, tomorrow. There's a round.
Tomorrow.
Yeah, there's
Okay.
one tomorrow.
Who's
That's
racing
8 o'clock
tomorrow?
Eastern, right?
It's gonna be the Stick and me. I think tomorrow at 8 p.m. EDT. I think it's something like that.
Yeah,
it's pretty fun.
I remember it's 2 a.m. for me.
Oof.
So if someone else can do commentary, I would appreciate it, but I can do it if no one else has the time for it.
All right.
But yeah.
That's late.
Yeah, that will be it for us today, I suppose then. Thank you all very much for watching. GG to both racers. Thank you for participating. And I hope you enjoy the tournament that has been, and well, it has only been this race, and what will come up next. the rest of the tournament. Yeah.
All right. Well put.
All right. Thank you.
Bye bye. Thanks everybody.
Bye. Yeah. Bye.
Thank you all.